Daily Fiscal Pulse for the 28th of April, 2026. We're looking back one day. Here's how the money moved through Tuesday's close. The headlines driving sentiment right now center on Fed policy, rates, and inflation dynamics. Alphabet's earnings report is making waves with cloud revenue jumping 63% and crossing the $20 billion mark. That narrative is clearly shaping market momentum. Against that backdrop, let's see what the actual fiscal numbers reveal. The cash picture showed outflows exceeding inflows. Net transfers landed at negative $13.3 billion, with tax receipts driving the move at $27.0 billion. That represents money being withdrawn from the system. Yet despite this fiscal headwind, equities are holding their ground. The ES closed at 7,172, sitting comfortably above the 20-day moving average of 6,951. Over the past 20 days, price has ranged roughly 764 points. The market is maintaining its footing even as fiscal conditions tighten. Looking at the near-term spending trajectory reveals something noteworthy. The 5-day average for government outlays is approximately $3.8 billion daily. Shift that perspective to the 20-day average, and you're looking at roughly $14.8 billion per day. That's a notable difference in how much cash is circulating through the economy and feeding into markets. Year-over-year comparisons tell a consistent story. Fiscal year-to-date spending stands at $683.0 billion, representing about an 18% decline from the same period in 2025. That's a significant pullback in the amount of fiscal support underpinning the system. From a positioning angle, fiscal flows aren't offering a clear directional advantage at the moment. The conditions gauge sits at negative 16. History provides useful context here. We've encountered similar dynamics repeatedly, and despite tighter liquidity conditions, the S&P 500 has averaged roughly positive 1.2% over the subsequent month. Liquidity and market direction don't always move in lockstep. Markets can still advance even when cash is constrained. This dynamic creates an important asymmetry. With fiscal transfers running below year-ago levels, there's less of a liquidity cushion absorbing shocks. When headlines turn favorable, markets have room to grind upward. But if risk flares up, particularly around the Fed rates inflation complex, sell-offs can accelerate simply because there's less cash underneath to catch the decline. Two upcoming events merit attention. Month-end settlement arrives on the 30th of April and typically reshapes short-term money flows. The 15th of April individual income tax deadline represents the year's single biggest reserve drain. Fiscal conditions remain restrictive, but the magnitude of the impact is the key variable going forward. Track the scheduled flows for your next read on momentum. That's where we stand.